All right, here we go.
All right.
Welcome, NoDQ Galaxy. Aaron and I have not been around for a while on videos, so
I actually got a special request on Twitter to do a video, so I texted Caitlin, like, I guess we need to do one.
And we have some guests with us. We have Virtue and Robbie Vice, and we are here
Hi.
to predict the Royal Rumble for 2021. Is everyone excited? What's your 1 to 10 rating? Robbie, how about you?
I'm at like an 8, and I'm not normally a huge fan of the Royal Rumble, and apparently I'm one of the only people who enjoyed Raw this past week. But I think there's a lot of interesting things that could happen. I think Edge coming back is cool. I have some predictions where I feel less confident about my picks now, but I've already said them on Twitter for the past 2 weeks, and I'm going to owe someone a free NoDQ.com shirt. But all that being said, I think the match card looks pretty solid overall.
Okay.
So 8, yeah.
I think 8's a pretty solid number. I think I'll go with that as well. I'm mostly just excited about the Rumble matches pretty much, but I'm sure the rest will be entertaining as well. Aaron, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. I would say like a 7 or an 8. The only one I'm not super excited about is probably Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg, but I don't really think anybody is excited about that match. So, but the Rumbles are always exciting because you just don't know what's going to happen. And especially so far this year, like, you know, I was watching the guys' video and Aaron said he had like 6 different picks. Yeah, I've got like 6 or 7 different names written down because I just didn't know where to go. Like literally, it feels like anybody could win this year. So that's awesome.
I agree. Virtue, how are you feeling?
7 out of 10. I feel like if the pandemic was over and we had crowds, then it'd be a 9 maybe. But I'm going to dock it a little bit because it might not be as exciting as we think it's going to be. It might just be pretty standard.
Yeah.
You know, the way they've done the whole pandemic era. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we have about 5 matches and 1 potential match that they ended up predicting. So we will as well. And we have some bonus points, but we'll get to those when we're there. So we will start with the potential match that we don't think is happening at this point, but it is Sasha Banks versus Carmella. And I don't see a change there, so I will say Sasha Banks. Aaron? Can you hear me, Aaron?
Yeah, I said Sasha. Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
It was that
My bad,
straightforward.
Yes, it was like I
It was so quick I missed it. Okay. And you guys, same thing?
If that match happens, yes, Sasha Banks will retain. Remember, all we have to say is who retains. We'd assume it's a title match.
Oh, that's true. There's always the technicality of the retention.
So Sasha retains, so Carmella could win by DQ. I mean, I doubt Sasha would cheat, but
yeah, never. Yeah, you know, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there's no chance that Carmella wins this match and Sasha retains. I think that's the most straightforward thing we have on the card, and everything else after this gets a little bit dicey when it comes to picks.
I would agree with that. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the first one that we know is happening, and that will be the Women's Tag Team Championship. So we have Asuka and Charlotte, who are the champions, versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Virtue, we'll start with you on this one.
Sasha Banks. Yeah, she's in every match. She's a former tag team champion. Charlotte and Asuka. Do you see where I came with Sasha, Charlotte, and Asuka? I think they're going to retain. They won the titles a minute ago. Why would you hot potato those titles like that? So with that said, I don't know what they should do with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, but keeping them together as a tag team, not very appealing. So I'm going to say the champions will retain. I don't know if I'm confident in that pick, but that's what I'm going to go with.
Okay. Robbie?
Well, I 100% disagree with Virtue. I think that Shayna and Nia Jax they need something to do because obviously they're on the card because people like them backstage, whether it be family or whatever. Shayna was great in NXT. I don't think going into Mania that we're going to have double champions like Asuka. So I really don't see a reason because it looks like Charlotte and Lacey are going to be going into a feud, or they've been doing that really uncomfortable thing with Ric Flair, where it looks like both of them don't want to be there. But with that being said, I don't see a reason to keep them on there. And I'll be honest with you guys. A week or two ago, I forgot there was even women's tag team titles. They don't really mean anything. They're just props. And they have world championship caliber ladies with Asuka and Charlotte. So I don't think they need the belts. I think Nia Jax and Shayna need something. They need some kind of thing to elevate them. And that's really the only thing they have going for them. So, because if they don't have that, what are they going to do with them? Really, just nothing.
Well, now remember, Robbie, they can drop titles on Raw. So, like, they can lose them still soon.
I don't think we'll see something like that now, though, because it's the Royal Rumble. Usually when they have like the Monday Night Raw or the Friday Night Smackdown big title changes, it's after WrestleMania when the new season of WWE starts, so to say. So, Virgil, I'm going to have to go 100% against you and vote that way. So that's my pick is Shayna and Nia Jax take back their women's tag team championships.
Okay.
I'm going to agree with you that they take the championships back. My first thought was, why give it back to them again? But then I was like, Charlotte probably is going to get out of the tag picture and back into the singles. I'm sure that's happening very soon. So I will say that there is a title change here. Agree or disagree, Aaron?
You know mine because we were talking about it, but yeah, she was kind of waffling back and forth, and I agree with you, Robbie, and you, Caitlin. I just think Charlotte's meant for more than the tag team championship. So whether she wins the Rumble, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if she did, but I just see her. She's going to be in the picture, like the championship picture, not the tag team championship picture. So she's got to drop those titles, and Asuka doesn't need it either, so get it on somebody else.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with that, we're going right into the title matches, main title matches. So we've got Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg. Aaron, I'm going to send it right back to you again since you went last. You can start this one off.
I remember that Raw when Goldberg came out, and I was just like, are you serious? Come on. Nobody wants to see him. He only comes around during Royal Rumble, WrestleMania season to literally ruin everything that's going on. That is what it feels like. He can't do anything in the ring. It's not exciting to see him. Like, basically, the best part about him is his entrance, and I don't even really care about that, honestly. So I know we're supposed to pick what we think is going to happen. But I'm going to pick what I want to happen because hopefully that is what will happen. So I'm going to pick Drew because please, WWE, do not put it back on Goldberg. Just don't. That was terrible last year at WrestleMania time. That was terrible. Please don't make the same mistake. I'm pleading. I'm literally pleading. I want McIntyre to win, so I'm going to pick McIntyre.
What do you think, Robbie?
Yeah, I agree. I do not want to see Goldberg win the title again. I was very upset the last few times he's come in and just squashed up and coming talent. I feel that he really was a huge roadblock in the Fiend. KO, like it's no. Yeah, what else can you say? It's Goldberg. Do you really want to trust the guy with your flagship title, the same guy who headbutts his door, gives himself a concussion, and goes out there and sounds like a 90-year-old man? Like, he doesn't make sense. And again, I always say this. Ever since he brought his shirtless kid out there, I've just been like, I don't ever want to see Goldberg again. We saw him in the 90s. And it still perplexes me why Vince wants to push this guy. He's the only WCW guy that he just puts over his own created talent over and over.
Because Bret Hart, he ended Bret Hart's career, who punched Vince McMahon out in the locker room in 1997. And I know Aaron always rolls his eyes when I say that kind of stuff, but seriously, that's what I think.
And you know what? Vince is like the king of petty, so I don't discard that at all. But yeah, at the end of the day, Drew McIntyre is going to WrestleMania as the champion, and hope to God he defends it against someone at a better quality than Bill Goldberg. Because let's face it, I hope this match does not go more than 3 minutes, because he came out on Raw and like did one spear after like huffing and gruffing at Drew, and he was out of breath and looked like he was going to die. So we do not need to see a long drawn out match from this. Drew, I think, should just squash him in 30 seconds and be done with it. Build him up, make him look like more of a monster, and then he can move on to bigger and better things.
Let's be honest, too. Drew deserves better.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, he deserves a better opponent than what he's right now. And if he loses like that, what did you do with him all year to have him lose to Goldberg?
well, they already did that with him once. They've already taken the title off.
I know, and
it
even brings it back to like with KO and stuff. You build up like this great feud between KO and Jericho, and then just have KO get squashed in like the dumbest match ever. Like
that was really bad.
Learn from your mistakes. Don't do it again.
Stop booking Goldberg, Vince. No one wants it.
Nobody.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing really to add to this. Drew McIntyre retains Virtue.
Yes, Drew McIntyre retains, and I like Aaron's theory. I think he said this, where maybe the Miz cashes in and becomes part of the match, which will allow Drew to beat the Miz, and Goldberg stays protected and doesn't take the L himself. So, bottom line is, I'm going to say McIntyre retains. I don't care how, just don't put it on Goldberg.
That would make the Miz, though, the first person to ever lose the Money in the Bank twice in the same year.
Wow, but they canceled the last one because Morrison handed it, like cashed it in, so it wasn't really a cash in.
Fair enough.
I don't know. That's what I think.
I still count it as a loss in my head, and that's what to me matters.
But I mean, that's where the Miz is at in his career, where that happens to him.
Seems like something they would do to the Miz, basically.
Yeah.
So there you go, McIntyre.
All right, moving on. And by the way, I'm sorry about this chair. It keeps like creaking, and I'm trying not to move, but that's making me move more.
I honestly didn't know.
Probably everyone will at this point.
Though.
But I had to put it out there. But anyway,
I'll be really quiet so we can hear it.
Why don't you go sit in Aaron's spot, the little no DQ spot with the flag?
So what happened was I was there first, and then this reflection was in my glasses, and I'm like, well, I sit here for work and it's never in my glasses, so maybe I need to move, and it didn't help, and then I just didn't move back.
There. Okay.
Now you get the squeaky chair.
Yeah, so here we are. But we have Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. This is last man standing, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Roman Reigns is my pick. And, you just don't go against him, and I don't see that happening ever in a million years. Robbie?
Yeah, Roman is going to win this. And I know Virtue disagreed with me. I'm still upset that we're not seeing Adam Pearce in this match because I know you love it.
But wait till you hear what I have to say.
I'm sure you have something. Look, I have nothing against KO. I was really excited when he came to the company. I was a big fan of Kevin Steen and a lot of his stuff on the independent circuit and some of the other places he's been, right? He's a great character. He's great on the mic. He's innovative in the ring. He wrestles smaller than his size, which is a good thing, I think. Very agile. Great entertaining performer. But they've spent the better part of the last 6 months to a year making him look like an idiot. He's lost more than he's won. And I don't buy him as a credible opponent to Roman Reigns. At least we all know going into this that Roman's going to retain this title, right? So at least with Adam Pearce, it was something different, and we didn't know how it was going to end, but we knew how it was going to end, but not how we get there. With Kevin Owens, we've seen this match before, and I just feel that this is going to put Kevin Owens even further down the card, and they need to be building him up because right now, Roman doesn't have a lot of people that are on his level that can compete with him and give you that big WrestleMania moment. And Kevin Owens could be that guy, but they book him over and over to just lose. And so I'm not going to ramble on about it for hours like I could because I want to. But at the end of the day, Roman Reigns is going to win this match. I'm disappointed it's KO, but there's 0% chance that Roman Reigns drops this title to Kevin Owens. 0.
Virtue.
So let me get this part out of the way. Yes, Roman Reigns is going to retain. But let's look at, he's still wrestling Kevin Owens. I guarantee by the end of the night, people are going to be on Twitter. That was a hell of a match because what did KO do with Rollins at WrestleMania? Had one of the best matches of the weekend, non-cinematic match. Here's what's going to happen to spice it up, in my opinion. Right, all I need to do is have Roman retain, which we know is going to happen. But I like to give it that extra flavor. Adam Pearce is going to turn heel and help Roman Reigns because WWE loves heel authority figures, and that's going to also set Twitter ablaze because they're going to be like, no. And so that's my prediction.
I'd like that. That would at least be interesting.
So there you go. Because it's so obvious KO is going to win. Why not just screw him over by Pearce because all the people that wanted Pierce to wrestle Roman now are really going to be double shocked.
Only if it leads to a KO grudge match with Adam Pearce on a pay-per-view.
Remember, Roman just has to retain. All that other stuff is just window dressing.
Sure.
Right. No, you only get the point if all of that occurs.
Oh, come on now. I mean, I'll get that Twitter satisfaction. But
I'm putting it in my notebook.
All right, obviously, Roman.
Shocked.
But you guys both brought up really interesting points. Like you said, like I like KO a lot, and I do think this is going to be a good match because obviously with the two of them, they're going to beat the shit out of each other, and it's just going to be good.
Yep.
But Robbie, you brought up a good point about they kind of do need to build the KO up because who is going to face Roman, and then that goes back to what Aaron said: is Rollins going to come back? Because if they do bring him back as a babyface, that could be really interesting, and that would be a good match.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, anytime you bring the Shield guys back together, it's always a big deal.
I agree. So we'll see what happens. That's just the thing is there's so many interesting things that could happen based on that men's Royal Rumble. So it'll be really, I'm excited to see what WWE chooses to do.
And hopefully they go with whatever is not the least
something
interesting.
Good.
We'll see.
But speaking of, let's head into the Rumble matches. So we'll start with the women. We get 3 choices for second and third, and the points kind of coincide with those for us. And then one of the bonus questions is who is the 30th entrant for the women. So we will be saying that. Anyone want to volunteer to go first on this one?
All right. So is this the women's match?
Yeah.
Okay. So my third pick, I'm going to go backwards. So Alexa Bliss is in this, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Robbie, you convinced me that she might be a good candidate to win it. They did not put the title on her on Raw because of the thing with Randy Orton. She's going to be my third pick, Alexa Bliss. I got to put her in the top 3. My number 2 pick, yes, it's going to be Ronda Rousey. She's probably not even anywhere near WWE, but I got to put it out there because that's my heart is on my sleeve with that. So Ronda Rousey is my second pick, and my first pick is the safe pick. I'm taking Charlotte Flair. Now, the reason why I think that they're going to retain as tag team champions because it's the WWE way to have Charlotte win the Royal Rumble, and then her and her tag team partner will become WrestleMania opponents. They all pretty much stole the show for the women's side of things in New Orleans. I was there a couple years ago. I could see them doing that match again.
Us as well.
And let's
cross the way.
And let's face it, Asuka, she's a good worker. So I'd like to see this, but Charlotte, that last year's win, did she really win it? Rhea Ripley came out and challenged her. She should have wanted to immediately go for Becky Lynch. I think they need to rectify that. So that's why Charlotte is my number 1 pick. 30th, Ronda Rousey. Well, I mean, did they not announce the men's 30th, which is stupid? Right? Is the men's?
I don't know if they've done it
Are
yet.
they
But
going
okay,
to?
but
It
it sounds like they're going to. Okay, which is stupid.
I agree.
With that said, maybe they're doing that for a reason because the women's 30th pick is going to be somebody big. I mean, a long shot like a Becky Lynch. I just think it's way too early. So I'm going Ronda Rousey because I want to see her back. Again, heart is on my sleeve there. Next.
All right. For my number 1, I went with Bianca Belair. She looked really good. She has looked really good a lot lately, and she deserves it, honestly. She is so athletic and can do so many things and just looks good in the ring. I'm a big fan of her. Number 2, I went with the safe pick there. I went with Charlotte because don't bet. It's like the same. Don't bet against Charlotte. If you don't put her in the picture, you're probably going to get burned. Number 3, I went with Alexa Bliss because, like everybody said, she might be the most interesting thing on WWE right now. What she's doing. Me and Caitlin were talking last night. Literally, I think she could be an actress if she wanted to. She is selling it.
She's good.
So well. My number 30 for the women, this was hard. I ended up just going with Nia Jax because I could literally see everybody being super excited and then Nia coming out.
Great pick.
And then just
Great
coming
pick.
in and smashing a bunch of people and then everybody thinking she's going to win and get thrown out at the end and be like, thank God. I could 100% see WWE doing that.
That's a great pick. Now, Noah Foster, I know he watches these to get our picks. Be careful. I tricked you. I went 3, 2, 1. Aaron went 1, 2,
Yeah, 3. I did go
don't,
1, 2, 3.
Don't mess that up. Thank you.
I was thinking the same thing too when she went the other way.
Yeah,
let me talk about Becky Lynch for a second.
Would that not be big if she was in this, though?
Okay, as the only person who's actually given birth here, I don't think I have. She's gonna come back. Like, it's been like, what, 6 weeks? You're usually not even cleared for 6 weeks. So I mean, maybe like the chance, like literally, it's like a 1% chance.
Remember, Aaron, she was training on video while she was pregnant.
Which you can do, but you have to have like doctor. I mean, I worked 9-hour days every single day on my feet while I was pregnant up until like the last week. So I mean, being active is good, but yeah, getting in a WWE ring after 6 weeks, no.
Absolutely not. Ronda's my long shot because if she does come back and goes to Mania and wins, that buys more time for Becky to get ready. Because imagine Becky coming back and saying, "No, I beat." Yeah,
I would say Ronda will be there over Becky. Seriously, she just gave birth. Leave her alone. She's not thinking about WWE right now. All right, who wants to go next?
I'll go. So I will also do 3, 2, 1 because I think that's just fun to do it that way. Build up the suspense.
Sorry, I'll do it that way next time.
So in third, my third place pick is going to be Charlotte, the safe bet. I was saying to Aaron earlier that it would not shock me if they did her back-to-back just so they can say back-to-back Rumble champion. So I'll have her in the picture. Number 2 spot, I'm going to do Bianca Belair just because all the things Aaron was saying. Looks really good. Present a lot lately from what I recall. I have to admit, I have trouble paying attention sometimes lately. So, but I have been trying harder leading up to this video.
I did fall asleep during Raw. I keep waking up to Alexa Bliss and The Fiend, and it's kind of terrifying.
And with that said, my number 1 spot is Alexa Bliss because I just think what they're doing with her is awesome. And this is kind of one of those picks where this is what I want to happen, but I do think there's a good chance of it happening as well. She's doing awesome things with this character. It's the most interesting thing to me going on the shows right now at all. For me, anyway. And the 30th entrant, I've been going back and forth on this. My first thought was Ronda Rousey, but then I'm like,
that's a long shot.
If she's in it, like they're going all the way with that. So, and I don't think that's happening right now. But then I was thinking, well, let's just pick somebody who's listed as being in it, so I at least have a shot. And that's what I did. I'm going with Bianca Belair as the 30th entrant.
Now, everyone's saying Bianca Belair, and I didn't say. I'll give her this. She will be that one that's thrown over for the winner. Whoever wins it will throw her out.
I could see that too.
So she's kind of like at the end there, which is a big spot. When you're the one that gets thrown out, that's a big spot.
It is. I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's Robbie's turn.
Yep.
It is my turn. So this is the match that most likely is going to lose me money. This are the men's because I put it out there that if I'm not right on 2 out of 2 of my predictions for the winners of both Rumbles, that I will pick a random follower that retweets the tweet I put out this coming Sunday, and I will buy them an NoDQ.com shirt and ship it out to them, even if it's UK, and that'll probably cost an extra $30. So anyways, so I'm going to go 3, 2, 1 because Virtue is the trendsetter here, and I'm just going to follow that. So for my third pick, I actually did go with Rhea Ripley. I think that she hasn't been on in a while. I think she's the next big thing. She's very large, in terms of size against the other women. She has a great look. I think she's one of the best up-and-comers, and she's super young. She's going to be a huge star for years to come. My second pick is going to be Bianca Belair, just for the reasons you guys said. And when she picked up Otis on Raw and ran with him, that was impressive, right?
Perfect.
Like I didn't think that would happen. I thought she would see him and then she would, go punch Bayley in the face. But no, she literally picked that dude up and ran with him, which was absolutely incredible. And my number 1 pick is Alexa Bliss. by far the best character I've seen on TV since possibly The Undertaker when it comes to suspending disbelief, really engaging with the character. Everything she's doing, like when she appeared as normal Alexa and was like crying, and then all of a sudden she was back into her weird upside down Bray Wyatt pose and did, the finish to that match before Randy Orton came. It's gold. And like you said, there's absolutely, she could be an actress in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I would actually love to see her and Bray in a horror movie together at some
So
point.
good.
And as Virtue would say, I would
Just
love
as long
to
as WWE films, I don't think they're even around anymore. As long as they don't have
but imagine a
Right.
Rob Zombie film with Bray and Alexa. It could be.
Don't tell Aaron that. He'll go.
I know not a lot of people like Rob Zombie, and it is a little bit on the gore side, but I'm a fan of that old school grindhouse, like original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like stuff like that. I think it is fantastic. And for the number 30 that I have coming out is going to be Charlotte Flair, because I feel like she's going to come out and something's going to happen to her where she's going to come out at 30. You're going to get this sense that she may win. And I feel like if Rhea Ripley's not scheduled to win, she will be the one to throw Charlotte over, and they're going to kind of re-engage that feud. And eventually one of them will win a title, and they'll face off at WrestleMania against Alexa Bliss or something. But God, I hope Alexa wins.
Imagine if it was Lacey last with Charlotte, and Rick determined which I think Charlotte would overcome that if that ever happened. But just imagine if that was the finish.
I can see that, but the thing is Lacey has not been booked to me to be credible to even be in the ring with Charlotte Flair. I don't really even think she's earned the right to be in these weird, uncomfortable things with Ric Flair. Again, it's not that she's not talented, but it's this WWE style of booking where I'm not convinced that she's a credible opponent for Charlotte. I see no chance that she makes it beyond 20. I think in the final 10, we will not see Lacey Evans in that mix at all.
Okay. All right. So we are on to the last match. Maybe the last match. We don't know what the last match of the show will be, but the men's Royal Rumble, same thing, the 3 picks. But for this one, we have the first and second entries to predict for our bonus point because, again, they're releasing the women's first and second, like the opposite of what we're doing or whatever. So any volunteers for this one?
No, I don't care. I'm going to start with actually who I think is going to come first and second, who's going to be entered first and second. So I think it's going to be like either company guys or guys who like Vince McMahon never lets win. That was my thought. I don't think it's going to be anybody very exciting. So my number 1 is The Miz. I could definitely see The Miz out there and getting tossed over real quick.
After he loses his Money in the Bank early
Exactly.
in the show.
Yeah, it's going to be a bad show for Miz. No. And then number 2, I picked Cesaro because Vince never lets him win pretty much anything. He won the IC title for like a second, and that was about it. And then I'll do 3-2-1 this time since I was the only.
All right.
All right. So my number 3, I picked Lesnar. Honestly, I wouldn't be sad if Lesnar won. I mean, we haven't seen him in a while. He is always an interesting character, and it would be really interesting to see like Lesnar versus Roman with it being switched like that, with Heyman being with Roman. Now, I don't remember who mentioned that, but somebody did, and I thought that was a really interesting idea, and I would be interested to see that. That would be one of the first times I'm actually interested in seeing Roman versus Lesnar. I mean,
that's a good point.
Do you remember like we were at WrestleMania 34? Nobody even cared who won that match at that end. People like the F5s, people were like just laughing at that point. Like it was funny. Like people were over it at that point. My number 2, I'm going to go with Edge because I feel like there has to be some sort of significance for him to actually come out and say that he was going to enter match.
Yep.
So that's why I'm going to go with Edge. And then my number 1, I'm going to go with Daniel Bryan because why not? No, but seriously, what is he in right now? So why not have him win? Wouldn't he be interesting versus Drew? Wouldn't he be interesting versus Roman? And don't you want like a really good babyface versus somebody like Roman Reigns? Yeah. Who better than Daniel Bryan?
Yep.
So those are my 3 picks. Who wants to go next?
All right.
I'll go ahead off of you.
Go.
Okay. So I'll also start with the the people coming into the match first. And I was talking to Aaron about this earlier. I was like, number one, no question, Dolph Ziggler.
And I agreed, but I didn't want to take her pick, so I was like, I'll pick something else.
I can just hear his music hitting right now already. So
at least he doesn't have that record scratch anymore.
So yeah, him first, and I chose Sami Zayn for second. Yeah, I can just see that happening. So third, my third pick or whatever, I actually had Lesnar. I crossed it off last second, and I put Rollins in there.
I almost wrote Rollins. I've literally got like 7 people written down.
Yeah, it was tough. I had
it was hard
around and whatnot, but yeah, I mean, I think he could be back. There's a good chance. You won't get the pop because the people won't be there.
Well, the Thunderdome pop, the fake pop.
I mean, I might pop still at home, so I don't know.
Good point. Second, also Edge. Same reason. I think if he's announced to be in the match, something's happening, probably. And then first, I also went Daniel Bryan. And this one we did not discuss. And same thing. Hasn't been doing a whole. I mean, he's there, but nothing major happening. And he's always one of my favorites, so I'm going with him. Now you can go, Virtue.
Okay. So the first person out is going to be Daniel Bryan. Okay, we'll get back to that later.
All right.
The second person, they're going to start with some buzz for the internet. The second person is going to be AJ Styles. That's who's going to start this match.
That would be.
I was going to say Matt Riddle, but I scratched him off. But
good.
Anyways, and he's not even one of my top 3. Now, for the winners, I am not going to say Brock Lesnar or Seth Rollins because they're not there right now. I went out on a limb with Ronda. I'm not going to do it for the men as well. So at number 3, Edge, right? He's announced. I got to have him in the top 3. I'm not wavering, Robbie, on my 1 and 2, just like on the women when I said Charlotte and Ronda, right? From a month ago, I'm sticking to that. I'm sticking with my men's picks. My number 2, Big E, right? I mean, if you're going to push someone, you're going to do it like that. And number 1, Aaron, I agree with you. Daniel Bryan will be number 1, and he will win this thing and be the biggest babyface for the Royal Rumble that he never won that he should have in the past. And Dave Meltzer keeps reporting this is a rumored match, and it keeps getting scrapped. We're finally going to probably get, because it's a pandemic year, and then no Cena, no Rock. Brock's a long shot. We're going to get Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I'm going to stick to that because why not? Daniel Bryan, what did he do at New Orleans, WrestleMania 30? Biggest babyface pop I've ever heard in recent memory, the last decade, versus a heel Roman Reigns. That's your money for this year's smaller version of WrestleMania that's going to be stretched to 2 nights.
Again.
Yeah. But at least some people in the crowd this time, right?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I guess I didn't hate the 2 nights, but
probably not in person.
But I mean, I also don't like it going to midnight, so I guess I'm just one of those people who can't be happy. Can't please me no matter what. Don't like it till midnight. Don't like 2 nights.
Or like a Daniel Bryan number 1 lasts all that time and he's thrown out by the heel winner, or something. I could see that happening too. But
I could see that too. He's won in last 2, 29 and 30 left, and that would be terrible.
I think it's Robbie's
take us home.
It is my turn. So before I do this, I do have everything manically scrolled down in notes here, and great minds think alike. Virtue. I know, God, I can't help it.
Notes right here.
Yeah, well, if I do that, I'll sit here and go blank, and I'll look like a jackass. So, for my number 1 and 2 entrant, I did have the same type of mindset of I think someone big's going to be there, and then someone who's a good worker that's never going to win. So what I picked was number 1, Daniel Bryan. I think Daniel Bryan's going to go the distance and be one of the last 3 people out there. And my number 2 entrant, like Caitlin said, I actually went with Dolph Ziggler. I think those are likely entrants in the early thing. He's going to be able to do things. He'll run around and he'll end up getting thrown out by someone. Now, for the second 3-2-1 of what's most likely going to lose me money is I went with my number 3. I actually did go with Seth Rollins. I think him coming back, having that reverse feud with Roman Reigns where he's the face, and I hope he's not like the dumb happy-go-lucky face. I want him to come back as that tweener role. I want him to come back with a vengeance, be serious, out for revenge. You know, he could say, I knew Roman was bad all along. That's why I couldn't stand with him in the Shield. Whatever he has to do, that story is going to be great if that happens. My number 2 pick is Daniel Bryan. I think if he wins, him coming in at number 1 to go the distance really sets him up and it elevates him, because he hasn't won all of his matches recently. And I think going the distance in the Royal Rumble really builds him up and gives credibility to whoever he ends up facing, which would most likely be Roman Reigns. And number 1, I'm going to say Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, I feel like, is the only one big enough that could go against Roman Reigns that I would feel that Roman has a chance to lose against. They have a history. Like I said on last week and then a couple times on Twitter and with Virtue, I think the Paul Heyman element really changes the dynamic of it. I'm really interested. Brock would have to speak for himself. Heyman could be conflicted at the end. Maybe he could even turn on Roman again. I think that sets up a couple months of Roman Brock that could be really good entertainment. But here's my big no point prediction or whatever. I think if Lesnar is going to win, I feel like the last 3 people in the Rumble will be Daniel Bryan, Edge, and they're going to be fighting. They're going to be tired. The crowd's they're going to be pumping into This Is Awesome, Fight Forever. They're both going to be exhausted, and you're going to hear Lesnar's music hit, and they're both going to have that, oh shit. They're going to try to work together, but Lesnar's just going to come clean house, and it's going to come down to him and Edge, and I think he just throws Edge out of the ring. The fans are upset. Lesnar is he makes that huge impact that he always does, and he goes on to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
So do you think if Lesnar comes back, do you think the men will be first or last?
I think so this depends.
See,
I
like,
think
do you send him home unhappy, or
I don't know if it's unhappy though, because
I wouldn't be that mad about it. It'd be something interesting.
But I think the prospect of him versus Roman Reigns, they could literally close the show with, oh my God, he could even just take the mic and call Roman out and tell him his days are numbered, throw it down, his music hits, he leaves. And
I would even love it if Roman just came out and stood there at the end and they just looked at each other.
Right.
Like,
they could have that face off.
And
as long as they don't play tug of war again. Didn't they do that a few years ago? It was like really bad.
If the women go on last, the Royal Rumble match, we do have a really good shot for a Rousey.
That's what I was going to say.
Or like I said, we're not talking Becky, but or that ridiculous, I can't believe this is happening. So when we're watching the show, if the women are last, something big is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And it could even be like a Tessa Blanchard. I mean, I know none of us really said that, and a lot of people hate Tessa Blanchard because apparently she's like a garbage human being or whatever. But I mean, that could be another big thing to end. Yeah, I think if Lesnar's going to win, that closes out the show. And I would love, like Aaron said, I would love to see that stare down at the end where they just stand there, just nothing said, and all that tension, and they could fade to black with Michael Cole going crazy and screaming "Big Dog" or whatever. But yeah, I think. In my heart of hearts, I feel like Lesnar comes out, eliminates both Edge and Daniel Bryan, and it's going to be chaos leading to WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar on a warpath. What's
the chance that if Alexa wins the women's, that Bray comes back or the Fiend and wins the men's, and they both have the Royal Rumble win? Like, wouldn't there'd be some people happy and pissed at the same time?
I don't see that happening. I see the Fiend maybe doing something during the Rumble match. I like I told you, Virtue, I anticipate the Fiend coming back with almost like a two-face gimmick because they're doing that Batman, Harley Quinn, Joker thing. I think he comes back with the half melted mask, half his normal face, and he's just going to be crazy. I think he may help get Orton eliminated somehow or something to that effect. I don't see him winning, but I'm wrong all the time, so who knows?
Well, nobody really mentioned the Fiend, and we just I wanted to, right, Caitlin? He's probably going to show up or something's going to happen.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about him earlier.
Even if it's in Alexa's bubble, something with her.
Yeah. I can't see him winning, just not after, like, what has happened.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to, like, even get behind him winning the Rumble, honestly. I feel like there's just way better choices.
Well, he doesn't really need a title. He doesn't need a title. Never did.
He's like Undertaker like that, though. Like, it's cool if he has it and he has a good run, but he doesn't need it because when he's in a match, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, all right, everybody. Do you have something else, Virgil?
No, I mean, we got through it in under an hour. I'm happy. How long was the guys' show? An hour?
59 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, we
Pushing
beat,
an hour.
we beat them. 39
did.
minutes.
I figured we figured
That's
we
if we
would.
roll through these shout outs or whatever they're called. I'm blanking on the word. What is it? Plugs. Or something. Plugs. Well, so my thing is, so we're filming this on the 26th, and it is my dad's birthday today. I don't know if this will be airing tonight or not, but happy birthday, Dad. I'm going to be talking to you in a little bit. And
Does he watch these?
Yeah, he usually does.
Happy birthday, Mark. I mean, no, what's your dad's name?
Bill.
Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday, Bill.
Yeah, Bill, happy birthday.
Birthday.
So yeah, I'm nodq.com/Caitlin.
All right, I am nodq.com/Aaron. That's it for our plugs.
That's all we got.
Oh, nice. All right, well, you guys can follow me. I am criminally underfollowed. I feel that I have amazing content.
You said don't follow me before.
That was my campaign the past year. That's true. And I thought the reverse psychology would work, but sadly it has not. Follow me at the Robbie Vice. I'm telling you again, I am criminally underfollowed. I post gold, and if you're not following me, there's something wrong. You just do it. And as I said before, I'm going to be giving away most likely a NoDQ.com shirt. And the way to do that is to retweet and follow me. You're going to retweet what I tweet out on Sunday before the Royal Rumble starts. And when Alexa or Brock don't win, you will be entered to win a NoDQ.com t-shirt of your choice. You'll just DM me shipping information, size, and all that stuff and what you want to get. And I will ship that out to you, and I will be sad, especially if you live in the UK, because that'll be expensive. So hopefully I'm right and I don't
let
money.
Robbie fool you.
I was like, I'm going to retweet you, Robbie. So be ready.
Fair enough.
Okay, follow me on Twitter. You know the game. At NoDQ_Virtue. Facebook, nodq.com/virtue, lowercase v.
All right. And we will see you all next time.
See you guys.